Here are 8 astonishing discoveries from India that will send chills down your spine. The unsettling scenes of the Ganges River. Ancient mysteries science has yet to explain. Eerie and unpredictable natural phenomena. And century-old puzzles that remain unsolved. Along the banks of the Ganges, on the South Asian continent, countless secrets are hidden. Let's dive in and explore them together. In UMBR 8, the women by the Ganges River. Along the banks of India's sacred Ganges River, you may often witness an astonishing scene. A group of modestly dressed women in religious attire, undressing in broad daylight, to bathe and wash their hair in the river's waters nearby. Sometimes, men will appear, hurling provocative words and making inappropriate gestures towards them. In most people's minds, Indian religion is considered a serious topic. Whether followers of Buddhism or Hinduism, believers are seen as deeply devoted to their faiths, showing great reverence to the so-called holy men in the temples. However, what many don't know is that beneath the mysterious and sacred veil of religion lies a disturbing and dark reality like the women by the Ganges River. On the surface, these women work for the temples, assisting religious figures with daily duties. But in reality, they are sex workers, forced to cater to any demand, at any time, under any circumstances. In a country that places such a high value on religious faith, religious figures hold considerable power. Even if some are aware of their ugly behavior, few dare to speak out against them. It's an unspoken secret, hidden in plain sight. In UMBR 7, the mysterious village and its identical people. In southern India, there exists a peculiar village called Halagunan. At first glance, it may seem like any other Indian village, but there is one striking difference. All the villagers have the same face. If you were to enter this village, you would likely be frowning in shock. Every man, woman, child, and elder regardless of age or body type shares an uncanny facial resemblance. The similarity rate is a staggering 95% or higher. This eerie phenomenon feels like something out of a sci-fi world, as if some advanced technology altered their genes, turning them into identical clones. The people of Halagunan have dark skin, rough facial features, and eyebrows so thick they seem exaggerated. Their body hair is unusually abundant. Even their voice tone, pitch, and speed are so similar that it's impossible to distinguish who is speaking. Scientists have attempted to explain the mystery of Halagunan. Theories have ranged from meme breeding within the same lineage, leading to highly overlapping gene sequences, to environmental factors. However, none of these theories have been able to fully account for the village's uniqueness. To this day, Halagunan remains a bizarre spectacle in India, with a strange phenomenon of identical-looking villagers continuing to baffle observers and scientists alike. In UMBR 6, Prahladyani, this is the name of an Indian elder whose astonishing story has left countless Indians and people around the world in disbelief. He has been subjected to numerous tests and skepticism, with some calling him one of India's modern miracles. Prahladyani claimed to possess extraordinary abilities, asserting that he had not eaten or drunk anything for 70 years. According to him, he could survive without the essential resources of life, transcending what he described as the lower needs of ordinary humans. For most people, going without food for more than a week is impossible, and without water, a person typically can't last beyond 3 days. Due to the implausibility of his claim, many doubted Yani's words, and even the media challenged him, proposing an experiment to expose what they believed was a lie. Yanni did not shy away from the test and willingly agreed to undergo the experiment. He was placed in a room with guards posted at the door to ensure he couldn't leave, and no food or water was allowed to be delivered to him. The goal was to see how long he could last. To everyone's amazement, Yanni endured for over 2 weeks. In fact, it was the media who ultimately decided to stop the experiment out of fear for his health. Yet, when Yanni emerged from the room, despite having had neither food nor water, he appeared perfectly healthy and radiant. To this day, no one can fully explain the unique nature of his body or how he was able to survive under such conditions. In UMBR 5, Mount of the Dead. Mount of the Dead, also known as Mohenjo-daro, is an ancient unsolved mystery in India that remains an enigma to this day. Despite various analyses and theories from experts, no one has been able to offer a flawless explanation for what happened. Around 3,600 years ago, this city experienced a massive and catastrophic disaster. In 1992, archaeologists discovered this eerie site and unearthed tens of thousands of human remains within the city ruins. The site is now known as Mount of the Dead. Initially, scientists hypothesized that the city may have been destroyed by a rare natural disaster, such as a major earthquake, volcanic eruption, or tsunami, which could explain its terrifying disappearance. However, these theories were soon disproved when clear evidence of an explosion was found in the ruins. An explosion with a force comparable to that of a nuclear bomb. Even more puzzling, traces of nuclear radiation were detected in the human remains. Thousands of years after the event, nuclear weapons didn't exist thousands of years ago. So how did nuclear radiation come to be present? This question has left scientists baffled, making Mound of the Dead one of the most perplexing mysteries in India's history. In Year 4, the mysterious blood rain. In 2001, residents of Kerala, a state in western India, were left terrified by a bizarre weather phenomenon near the coastline. They witnessed a rain shower that appeared to be blood. As the rain grew heavier, it seemed as though something gruesome had occurred in the sky, causing blood to pour down from above. The sudden appearance of blood rain left the locals in a state of panic. Many feared that it was a curse from the heavens, a sign of an impending disaster, or perhaps even the result of some deliberate act of sabotage. Their imaginations ran wild, feeding into their fears. Scientists, however, were quick to offer an explanation. They claimed that the red rain was caused by red soil particles in the water, which had been carried to India from the Arabian region by sea winds. This explanation, though, didn't fully convince the public, as it seemed too simplistic. Adding to the mystery, some researchers later discovered unusual bacterial structures within the red rain. These bacteria were unlike anything found on Earth, leading to speculation that they could be extraterrestrial in origin. The strange red rain could very well be some sort of signal from outer space, making this event one of the most eerie and inexplicable natural phenomena in recent history. In Year 3, the mass bird suicides in a remote village in eastern India called Jatinga, a place isolated from the outside world, a strange and disturbing phenomenon, has left both villagers and experts puzzled. One summer evening, without warning, a large flock of birds suddenly appeared in the sky, flying towards Jatinga. They circled at low altitudes, seemingly drawn to something on the ground that captivated them. Meanwhile, the villagers below were gathered around bonfires, performing a special ritual in a lively, celebratory atmosphere. After a few minutes, the birds, without any apparent reason, began diving toward the ground. However, instead of attacking or swooping at people, they aimed for the torches and flames. Some birds misjudged their flight and crashed into the ground, never getting up again. Others, much like moths drawn to a flame, willingly flew into the fire, burning themselves alive. There were also birds that initially survived, but stopped eating or drinking in the following days, only to die soon after, leaving their bodies scattered across the village. The inexplicable mass bird suicides unnerved the villagers, who feared it was an ominous sign of bad things to come. However, experts have offered a more scientific explanation. They believe that the bird's navigation was likely affected by magnetic disturbances in the area, possibly due to the village's proximity to large deposits of magnetite. This disruption could have caused the birds to lose their sense of direction, leading to their collective and tragic deaths. Despite the chilling sight, scientists reassured the villagers that there was no need to worry about any supernatural cause. In Year 2, the levitation stone. In India, there is a famous tourist attraction known as the levitation stone. This massive rock, reportedly floating in midair for over 800 years, has no visible support between it and the ground, yet it remains perfectly stable in its position. Locals believe that the levitation stone is a sacred object, blessed by the heavens and imbued with spiritual energy. They often come to the stone to kneel and pray for blessings, especially during significant life events, firmly believing in the stone's divine power. However, some foreign visitors argue that the levitation stone is simply a case of misunderstanding. According to them, the rock isn't actually floating. Its unique shape causes the stone's point of contact with the ground to be hidden from view, creating the illusion that it is levitating. In other words, the rock may have tiny support points beneath it that are invisible to onlookers, anchoring it in place. Even if this explanation is accurate, the fact that such a massive stone is seemingly balanced on small, hidden supports is, in itself, quite miraculous and continues to capture the imagination of all who visit. In Year 1, floating debris in the Ganges. The Ganges River is revered as holy water by Indians, but to people from other countries, it's often viewed as one of the dirtiest rivers in the world. If we were to name the most polluted mother river, the Ganges would likely top the list. One particularly chilling scene was captured on camera, showing the Ganges surface littered with all sorts of debris. Upon closer inspection, the river is filled with household trash, human and animal waste, mud, weeds, and, disturbingly, corpses. Yes, not only are animal carcasses found, but human bodies as well. In India, law enforcement isn't always as strong as in some other countries, and crimes like murder, arson, robbery, and assault are unfortunately common, so much so that they can be described as part of daily life. When a murder occurs and there's no way to properly dispose of a body, it's often as simple as tossing it into the Ganges, letting the current take care of the rest. The Ganges carries the faith and hope of millions of Indians, but it also carries immense pollution, darkness, and even crimes. Through this one river, you can glimpse the complexity and many layers of Indian society. India's astonishing discoveries, bizarre secrets, and eerie phenomena might one day find explanations. Who knows what answers the future may hold?